Yep, that's Chinedu. You might be wondering how he ended up in this mess. Well, allow me to take you back to the beginning. The struggles, the dreams, and the choices that changed everything.
Chinedu Okofor was a boy of many dreams, but life never gave him the chance to chase them freely. Every morning, he walked to school with a torn backpack on his shoulders and hunger burning in his stomach. His sneakers were old and broken, yet he carried himself with the quiet pride of someone who believed tomorrow would be better. His mother, Mama Gechi, worked tirelessly in the open market. She sold vegetables under the sun, her back bent and her face aged before its time. Though her hands were rough, her love for her son was soft and unshakable. And then there was Ifeoma, Chinedu's childhood friend. She was studying to be a nurse and always encouraged him never to give up. She carried herself with quiet strength, smiling even when life gave her nothing to smile about. But dreams do not pay school fees. And in Nigeria, dreams are often the first thing to die. One day, Chinedu stood at the school gate, staring at the bold notice painted in red, "No fees and no exams." At that moment, he realized that his brilliance alone could never fight poverty. Not long after, Chinedu met Tiga. He was the kind of boy the street crowned as a king, loud, fearless, and dripping in fake designer clothes. He leaned on tinted cars, flashing cash, and promising a life without struggle. "Chinedu," he said with a grin, "you still dey suffer. See your mates, they don't blow. Just follow me one night and your mama no go hawk again." The offer was tempting. That night, Chinedu saw what Tiga called the sweet life: money sprayed in clubs, girls dancing, alcohol flowing like water. For the first time, Chinedu saw what quick money looked like. But temptation is never free. As he stood there, watching the world Tiga lived in, Chinedu thought of his mother coughing in the market, and of the hunger that stalked his home every night. He wanted to say no, but hunger spoke louder than his conscience. As if poverty wasn't enough, the government announced a strike. Schools were shut down, and the future of students was thrown into darkness. What started as weeks dragged into months. While students sat idle, waiting for hope, politicians like Chief Okomo flourished. He stepped out of black SUVs, dressed in flowing agbada, his stomach full and his pockets fuller. His mansion shone with marble floors and golden chandeliers while Chinedu's mother fainted in the market from sheer exhaustion. Everywhere Chinedu turned, the system reminded him that it was broken, and that he was nothing but a casualty of its corruption. Ifeoma held his hand and told him not to give up, but her words felt like fire without wood. They warmed his heart, but they could not fill his stomach. And so, the walls closed in tighter. Poverty, hunger, and hopelessness, all pushing Chinedu closer to a dangerous decision. One night, Chinedu gave in. He wore a borrowed shirt and followed Tiga into the world he had once feared. The laptops glowed, the cash flowed, and for the first time, he felt what it meant to touch wealth. But that night, everything went wrong. The police came. Sirens screamed. Boys scattered in all directions. Gunshots filled the air. Tiga pulled out a gun, violence exploding before Chinedu's eyes. He ran, heart pounding, sweat mixing with fear, as if he could escape the choices he had made. Later that night, in the rain, Ifeoma found him. She grabbed his arm, tears streaming down her face. "This is not you, Chinedu," she cried. "This is not the boy I grew up with. What are you becoming?" But Chinedu had no answer. His hands trembled, stained with blood that wasn't his. And in that moment, he realized that crossing the line was easier than turning back. The streets never protect forever. Tiga, the untouchable street king, fell in a pool of blood after a shootout. Police trucks carried away youths whose lives had barely begun. Chinedu sat on an empty street at dawn, his face buried in his hands. He had lost friends. He had almost lost himself. Yet somehow, he was still breathing. And as long as he breathed, he had a chance to fight back. At home, Mom Nkechi lit a candle and prayed in silence. Ifeoma stood beside him, her voice soft but firm. "Don't give up, Chinedu. Not now." On television, Chief Okonwo smiled as he campaigned, pretending to care while the people starved. But outside, students gathered secretly, planning a protest that would shake the city. Chinedu looked into the crowd. His face was scarred, his heart heavy, but his eyes burned with resolve. "They stole our today," the narrator's voice declared, "but they cannot kill our tomorrow." This was the story of Chinedu Okafor. And for him, this is only the beginning.